Have you ever paused to consider why your life is the way it is? Have you ever wondered why certain events unfold exactly as they do, while others seem impossible to reach, no matter how much effort you exert? I tell you, the secret to everything lies not in the world of action, not in the things you do or say, but in the one power that governs all things, feeling. You may believe that circumstances control your life, that you are bound by fate, by conditions outside of yourself. But I say to you, you are not at the mercy of the world is at the mercy of you. It bends and shapes itself according to the state you occupy within, and that state is nothing more than the sum total of what you feel to be true. Look at your life carefully. Every condition you now experience is the direct result of an inner assumption once made and felt as real. It may have been done consciously or unconsciously, but I assure you, there was never an event, never an encounter, never a circumstance that was not first felt within. What you believe with feeling, you make real. It is not difficult to prove this truth. Consider the moments in your life when you have been utterly convinced of something, even before it appeared in the world. You may have felt deep within that you were about to receive a letter, and shortly thereafter it arrived. You may have felt that an opportunity was already yours, and before long it was placed in your hands. And yet, the same law works in reverse. If you have ever feared an outcome so intensely that it seemed inevitable, you have also seen how life conspires to bring it forth. This is because feeling is the one and only medium through which creation takes place. You do not manifest through idle wishes, nor through mere thought alone. The mind may conceive, but only feeling has the power to bring forth. You may repeat affirmations endlessly, but unless they are felt as true, they are nothing more than empty words. It is only when an idea is fused with feeling that it takes on the life necessary to become real. Most believe that they must first see a change in their world before they can feel differently. They wait for evidence before they accept a new reality. But I tell you, this is the great error that keeps men bound to circumstances they do not desire. It is never the world that must change first. It is you. You cannot wait to feel wealthy when wealth arrives. You must feel wealth before it comes. You cannot wait to feel love when the right person appears. You must feel love now in order for love to find you. This is the great secret that is hidden from those who live by sight alone. Feeling precedes manifestation. To change anything in your life, you must first learn to change how you feel. If you wish to experience joy, you must feel joyful. If you long for success, you must feel the thrill of accomplishment. If you desire peace, you must dwell in the feeling of calm security, even if everything around you suggests otherwise. This is not pretending. It is not delusion. It is the only way creation works. The world you see is not separate from you. It is you, pushed outward into visible form. It is a mirror reflecting what you accept and feel within yourself. And like any mirror, it cannot show you something that does not first exist in your own consciousness. Now you may ask, how do I change what I feel? If every event in life stems from feeling, then surely the mastery of feeling is the mastery of life itself. But feeling is not something you force. You do not command yourself to feel something and expect instant change. Instead, you immerse yourself in the reality of your desire so completely that the feeling arises naturally. Let us say you wish to experience abundance. Instead of looking at the world and reinforcing the idea of lack, close your eyes and step into the reality where abundance is already yours. Walk in that reality in your imagination. Hear the voices congratulating you. Feel the weight of prosperity in your hands. Breathe in the atmosphere of fulfillment. Do this not as a fleeting daydream, but as a deep, sustained dwelling in the state of being that matches your desire. And as you do, feel what it would be like if this were truly your world. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It only accepts what is felt. And once an idea is felt as real, the world has no choice but to conform to it. This is the great work of your life, to take conscious control of what you feel and to direct it toward what you wish to experience. The moment you assume a feeling, you have set into motion a cause that must, by law, bring forth its corresponding effect. There is no power that can prevent it. The only thing that delays or alters the outcome is doubt, fear, and the failure to persist in the assumption of the new state. If you would transform your life, then begin now. Not tomorrow, not when conditions improve, but now, to feel yourself into the state you desire. If you would be free, feel freedom now. If you would be loved, feel love now. If you would be successful, feel success now. For as surely as the sun rises, your world will reshape itself to match the feeling that you sustain. And when it does, you will know beyond all doubt that it was never the world that had to change. It was you. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract everything they desire, while others struggle endlessly, never reaching the fulfillment they seek? Have you ever questioned why, despite all your efforts, some dreams remain just beyond your grasp? I tell you, the answer is simple, yet overlooked by the masses. Assumption precedes manifestation. Everything you have ever experienced, everything you are experiencing now, and everything you will ever experience is born out of one thing, your assumption. It is not fate, luck, or external conditions that shape your life. It is not the effort you exert in the physical world. It is your ability to assume something as true, to accept it with conviction, and to live in that assumption as though it were already a fact. The world does not create for you. You create for the world. Nothing comes into being unless it is first assumed within. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you assume to be true. There is no power outside of you deciding what you may or may not have. You are the sole creator of your experience, whether you realize it or not. Look at your life carefully. Look at your circumstances, your relationships, your finances, your health. Everything around you is a perfect reflection of the assumptions you have held within yourself. If you assume yourself to be unworthy of love, life will reflect that belief. If you assume that success is difficult, your world will confirm that assumption. If you assume that abundance is yours, you will move through a world that proves it. Assumption is not a passive thing. It is not mere wishing or hoping. It is an inner acceptance of a truth so deeply felt that it must externalize itself. When you assume something with conviction, you no longer question whether it will happen. You know it already has. The world is simply catching up. You may say, but I have wished for many things, yet they have not come to pass. I tell you, wishing is not assuming. Wishing is standing on the outside, longing for something that feels distant. Assumption is stepping into the state of being where it is already yours. Wishing acknowledges lack, while assumption acknowledges possession. And life can only give you what you claim as your own. The key is to assume the state of your wish fulfilled with such certainty that it becomes more real to you than what your senses report. The outer world is only an echo of past assumptions. If you continue to react to it, believing in its permanence, you remain trapped in the cycle of repeating the same experiences. But if you assume a new state, if you persist in feeling it as true, the world must rearrange itself to match your assumption. You do not need to force change upon the world. You do not need to struggle, beg, or manipulate circumstances. You need only assume and persist in that assumption. When you do, all things move to support the reality you have accepted within. People, events, opportunities, all will play their part in bringing forth that which you have assumed to be true. This is the great secret hidden from those who live by sight alone. They look at the world and believe it to be solid, fixed, and beyond their control. They believe that change must come from outside of them, but I tell you, nothing in the world is solid. It is all fluid, shaped by consciousness. And your consciousness is shaped by what you assume. To prove this truth to yourself, begin now. Assume yourself to be the person you wish to be. Assume that you already possess what you desire. Assume that your dream is already a fact. Do this, not as a fleeting thought, but as a deep, unwavering belief. Feel the reality of your assumption. Walk in it, speak from it, think from it. Let it saturate your being so fully that doubt becomes impossible, and then watch as the world conforms. Do not concern yourself with the how. Do not look for signs or evidence. Simply persist. For the assumption that is sustained in feeling must by law become fact. This is not a theory. It is not a possibility. It is the only way creation works. You are never a victim of circumstances. You are always the creator of them. Every moment of your life, you are assuming something, either consciously or unconsciously. If you do not take control of your assumptions, the world will reflect whatever random beliefs you entertain. But when you learn to assume deliberately, when you take command of your inner world and choose assumptions that serve you, you will step into the fullness of your power. No longer will you feel bound by the conditions of life. No longer will you wait for the world to grant you permission to be what you wish to be. You will know that you are the operant power, that your assumption is the cause and the world is simply the effect. Have you ever stopped to consider the invisible bridge that connects what is unseen with what is seen, what is formless with what takes form? Have you ever wondered why some ideas remain as fleeting thoughts while others materialize into tangible reality? I tell you, the difference lies in feeling. It is not mere thought that brings things to life, nor is it idle wishing. The bridge between the invisible and the visible is feeling. Every desire, every imagined state exists within you right now as a possibility. But possibility alone is not enough. If thought alone could create, then every passing idea would instantly become reality. Yet, that is not how creation works. It is only when thought is fused with feeling that it takes on the power to manifest. Feeling is the substance that gives life to the formless. It is the energy that transforms an idea into an experience. You do not attract what you think, you attract what you feel to be true. The mind may conceive countless ideas, but unless they are felt deeply, they remain unformed, mere shadows of possibility. If you want to bring something into existence, you must first bring it to life within you. And the way you do this is through feeling. Consider your own life. Think of any experience you have had, whether pleasant or unpleasant. If you trace it back to its origin, you will see that before it appeared in the world, it first existed as a feeling within you. You may not have been consciously aware of it at the time, but I assure you, it was there. Your present world is nothing more than a reflection of the feelings you have embodied in the past. The circumstances you find yourself in today are merely the outpicturing of past states of consciousness. The world does not create for you, it reflects you. You may believe that external events dictate how you feel, but in truth, it is your feeling that dictates external events. You are always feeling something, whether deliberately or unconsciously, and the world is always molding itself around that feeling, taking shape according to the energy you sustain within. This is why those who live in constant worry find more things to worry about. This is why those who feel unloved continue to experience rejection. And this is why those who feel abundant, even before physical wealth arrives, find that prosperity flows effortlessly into their lives. The outer world is powerless to contradict the inner state you hold with conviction. If you wish to change your life, you must first change what you feel to be true. Not what you hope for, not what you wish could happen, but what you accept as a fact within you. There is no need to look to the world for confirmation. The only confirmation you need is the feeling itself. Once you accept a new feeling, the world has no choice but to reflect it. You may wonder, how do I generate the feeling of something that is not yet real? But I tell you, it is already real the moment you feel it. Reality does not begin when the world shows you proof. Reality begins the instant you accept a feeling as true. If you wish to experience love, you must first feel yourself as already loved. If you desire success, you must first feel the thrill of achievement. If you long for freedom, you must feel the joy of already being free. The moment you embrace a new feeling, you step into a new reality. The secret is in sustained feeling. A fleeting moment of joy is not enough. A temporary belief in abundance will not bring lasting wealth. You must dwell in the feeling consistently until it becomes your natural state. As you do, everything in your world will shift to match your new assumption. Each night, before you sleep, ask yourself, what feeling am I taking into my subconscious? For the feeling you go to sleep with is the feeling that will be impressed upon your deeper mind. And it is from this state that your world is shaped. If you drift off in fear, fear will manifest in your waking life. If you fall asleep in the assumption of joy, joy will greet you in the days to come. Nothing stands between you and what you desire except the state of feeling you habitually occupy. You do not need external permission to change. You do not need anyone else to agree with your vision. You need only accept the feeling of your wish fulfilled and let it take root within you. For the moment you do, you will have built the bridge between the unseen and the seen, and the world must follow. What if I told you that the reality you experience is not something happening to you, but something happening through you? What if I told you that nothing in your world exists independently of your perception of it? You may believe that circumstances shape your life, that events unfold according to forces outside of your control. But I tell you, it is your imagination that gives birth to every event, every encounter, every condition you now call reality. There is no power greater than imagination. It is the creative force behind all things, the invisible architect of every visible structure. Your imagination is not a mere function of the mind, not a fleeting daydream or idle fantasy. It is the very foundation of your existence. It is the source of all creation, the place where all things begin before they take form in the physical world. You may not yet realize the magnitude of your own power, but I assure you, every experience you have ever had was first imagined. Some creations were deliberate, others unconscious, but nothing has entered your life without first passing through the gateway of your imagination. Everything you now see, your home, your career, your relationships, was once a formless thought, a mental image, a vision held in consciousness before it materialized. Look closely at the patterns of your life. If you have known struggle, there was once an image within you that reflected that struggle. If you have known success, it is because you held an inner vision that aligned with it. Nothing in the world happens by accident. The outer world is simply the echo of what has already been accepted as true in imagination. Imagination is not limited to what the five senses report. If you rely only on what your eyes see, what your ears hear, what your hands can touch, then you will always be bound by what already exists. But if you learn to look beyond appearances, to imagine what could be instead of what is, then you will step into the realm of true creation. You may say, but I cannot imagine myself as something I have never been. I tell you, you can, and you must. The only reason you struggle to see yourself in a new way is because you have accepted the present conditions as unchangeable. But I assure you, the moment you persist in a new mental image, the moment you accept a new possibility as real, your world will begin to shift in ways you cannot yet comprehend. To imagine is to create. To assume a state in imagination is to claim it as your own. If you persist in that assumption, it will solidify into fact. You do not need to force anything into being. You do not need to manipulate circumstances or change people. You need only change the image you hold within, and the world will conform to it naturally. The process is simple, yet few truly understand its power. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and construct a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Make it so real, so vivid, that you feel as though you are living it now. Do not see yourself from the outside like an observer watching a play. Step into the scene and experience it firsthand. Hear the voices, feel the textures, sense the joy of having already achieved your goal. Lose yourself in the reality of your imagination until it feels more real than the world around you. You may think this is mere fantasy, but I tell you, this is the only way anything is ever brought into existence. The world you know today was once nothing more than imagination. Every invention, every great work of art, every breakthrough in human history, all were imagined before they became reality. Those who understood this truth have shaped the world. They did not wait for evidence to appear. They created the evidence through the power of their imagination. Most people use imagination against themselves. They imagine failure. They imagine rejection. They imagine all the ways in which life can disappoint them. And so life obliges. They do not realize that they are, in every moment, creating their own experiences through the images they persist in holding. They misuse the very power that could transform their lives. If you would take control of your destiny, you must first take control of your imagination. You must refuse to indulge in thoughts of limitation, in visions of defeat. You must discipline your mind to only entertain that which you wish to experience. If you imagine beauty, beauty will surround you. If you imagine success, success will follow you. If you imagine yourself loved and respected, you will move through a world that mirrors that truth. Nothing stands between you and your desires except the image you persist in holding of yourself. The moment you change that image, the moment you dwell in a new assumption, the world will respond accordingly. There is no power outside of you determining your fate. Imagination is the only reality. And what you imagine yourself to be, you will become. Have you ever considered that every moment of your life is shaped by the unseen forces of your own beliefs? Have you ever stopped to ask yourself why the same patterns repeat? Why certain conditions persist despite all efforts to change them? You may think it is the world imposing itself upon you, but I tell you, it is your own inner convictions that mold every experience you encounter. Nothing in your world exists independently of your belief in it. If you believe that life is difficult, it will be. If you believe that success is out of reach, it will remain so. If you believe yourself to be unworthy, the world will reflect that belief in every interaction, every opportunity, every outcome. But if you change your belief, if you accept a new truth as absolute, the world must conform to your new assumption. Belief is not mere words. It is not empty affirmation or hopeful wishing. It is the deep, unshakable knowing that something is true. It is the feeling of certainty that lies beneath every action, every decision, every thought. It is not what you say you believe that determines your life. It is what you truly believe, what you hold to be fact in the depths of your being. You may claim to believe in abundance, yet if you still feel lack, your world will reflect scarcity. You may say you believe in love, yet if you secretly doubt your worthiness, love will elude you. The world does not respond to your words. It responds to the convictions behind them. It responds to the belief you carry in your heart. If you desire a new reality, you must first plant the seed of belief within yourself. You must accept the truth of your desire so completely that it becomes impossible for the world not to reflect it. There is no outside force determining what you may or may not have. Your belief is the only determining factor. Belief is not something you acquire from the world, it is something you impress upon the world. Many wait for external proof before they believe, but that is not how creation works. You do not wait for evidence, you create the evidence through belief. The moment you accept something as true, even without physical proof, the wheels of creation begin turning. The world must bring forth that which you have accepted as real. Consider the great achievements of history, the breakthroughs, the discoveries, the revolutions of thought. Every one of them began with someone who believed in the unseen, someone who accepted a truth before the world confirmed it. They did not wait for approval. They did not seek permission. They believed first, and the world followed. This is the same power that governs your life. The moment you believe something with conviction, you set into motion forces beyond your comprehension. People, events, and circumstances rearrange themselves to match your assumption. Paths open where there were none. Opportunities arise that logic could not have predicted. But belief must come first. It cannot be a temporary state. It must be a permanent knowing that exists independent of appearances. If you look to the world for validation, you will forever be at its mercy. If you base your beliefs on what your senses report, you will remain bound to the limitations of your current experience. But if you close your eyes to what is and believe in what could be, you will break free from the chains of circumstance. The world is not fixed. It is fluid, shaped by the certainty of your belief. To change your life, you must change what you accept as true. You must stop entertaining doubts, stop reinforcing limitations, stop believing in lack and struggle. You must take full control of your inner world and discipline your mind to believe only in that which serves you. If you desire success, believe you are successful before the evidence appears. If you desire health, believe in your wholeness even when the body tells you otherwise. If you desire love, believe you are loved even before love arrives. The moment you believe, the world begins to shift. Your beliefs are not abstract thoughts. They are the blueprints of your reality. Every day you are building your future with the beliefs you hold right now. If you wish to change your life, change the foundation upon which it stands. Do not wait for signs. Do not seek confirmation. Believe first and let the world follow. What if I told you that your destiny is not something that happens to you, but something you create with every breath, every thought, and every assumption? What if I told you that you are the master of your own fate, not because of external effort or struggle, but because of the state of consciousness you habitually dwell in? The world does not determine your reality, your inner state does. Everything you experience is a direct reflection of the state you occupy. Your state is not simply a passing mood or fleeting thought. It is the deep, consistent feeling you live in day after day. It is the sum total of your assumptions, your beliefs, and the emotions that shape your perception of life. Whatever you assume to be true about yourself and the world around you determines what you will encounter. You do not experience what you want. You experience what you are. Look around you. Everything in your life, your relationships, your career, your health, your opportunities, is an outpicturing of your inner state. If you wish to change the conditions of your life, you must first change the state in which you dwell. No amount of external effort can override a deeply held assumption. No amount of struggle will bring you what you desire if your state of being contradicts it. The only way to transform your world is to shift into the feeling of the reality you seek, and to persist in that state until the world aligns with it. You may wonder, how do I enter a new state? The answer is simple: by assuming you already are the person you wish to be. You do not wait for external confirmation. You do not look to the world for proof. You simply decide within yourself that the new reality is already yours. You begin to think from the new state, feel from the new state, act from the new state, until it becomes so natural that it feels more real than the old one. Most people live reactively, allowing circumstances to dictate their emotions, their beliefs, and their assumptions. But I tell you, the only way to true transformation is to take control of your state before the evidence appears. You must embody the new state first and let the world conform to it. If you desire wealth, assume the state of wealth. If you desire love, assume the state of being loved. If you desire success, assume the state of accomplishment. The moment you fully accept a new state, the world has no choice but to reshape itself to match your inner conviction. You may ask, how do I maintain this state when the world shows me something different? The answer is faith. Faith is not blind hope. It is the unwavering conviction that your inner world is the true reality and that the outer world will inevitably conform. Faith is persisting in the state of the wish fulfilled even when the senses contradict it. It is refusing to fall back into doubt, refusing to entertain any thought that contradicts your new assumption. The world may test you. It may appear unchanged at first, but if you remain loyal to your new state, if you refuse to waver, the external world must shift. It is law. Every great change you have ever experienced came because you unconsciously entered a new state. Perhaps you once saw yourself as incapable, and so you lived a life of struggle. But then something changed. You gained confidence. You accepted a new truth about yourself, and suddenly the world began to reflect it. The same principle applies to every area of life. There is no luck, no fate, no external force deciding for you. There is only your state of being. And it is always within your control. To test this, try it now. Close your eyes and imagine yourself as already being the person you wish to be. Feel what it would be like to live from that state, not as something distant, not as something you hope will happen, but as something that is real right now. Let that feeling consume you. Let it become your new dwelling place. As you do this consistently, you will notice small shifts in your world at first, coincidences, unexpected opportunities, a change in how others respond to you. But these are not coincidences. They are the first signs that your state is being externalized. Persist in it, and it will solidify into fact. The world cannot help but reflect the state you occupy. The only question is, which state will you choose to dwell in? If you remain in the same state, your world will remain the same. But the moment you shift into a new assumption, a new feeling, a new certainty, the world will follow. There is no other way it can be. If there is one truth you must take from this, it is that you are the creator of your reality. Every experience, every condition, every event in your life is born from the state of consciousness you persist in. You are not at the mercy of fate, chance, or circumstance. You do not need to fight against the world or struggle to change external conditions. You need only change within, and the world will follow. The power of imagination, the certainty of belief, and the mastery of your inner state. These are not abstract ideas, but the very forces that shape your life. Imagination creates reality. What you believe to be true will be made manifest. The state you occupy determines the world you experience. If you accept this truth, if you apply it with unwavering conviction, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Now the choice is yours. Will you continue to live by appearances, reacting to the world as if it has power over you? Or will you step into your true nature, assume the feeling of your fulfilled desire, and let the world reflect your new state? The power has always been in your hands. You need only claim it.